Hi friends, welcome to my channel. Before going to the video, those who are not subscribed our channel, subscribe it and also click the bell button. In this video, we are going to see about scaling of metal oxide semiconductor devices. Scaling means reducing the dimension of the devices. It results in decrease in the dimension of a metal oxide semiconductor device, that is MOS device, and thus it increases the device density and functional capacity of the chip. Functional capacity means increase in operating frequency, reduction in power dissipation, gate delay, etc. Proper scaling requires not only reduction of gate length and width, but also it requires reduction of all other dimensions like the gate to source, gate to drain alignment, the oxide thickness, the depletion layer width. The depletion layer width scaling, it also implies that scaling of substrate doping density. The different types of scaling are constant electric field scaling, constant voltage scaling and lateral scaling. Now let us see constant field scaling or constant electric field scaling. It is a technique by which the device dimensions and the device voltages are scaled. In this analysis, both the vertical and horizontal electric fields are scaled by a common factor or kept constant. This technique yields the largest reduction in the power delay product of a single transistor. But this technique needs a decrease in the power supply voltage if size is reduced to a larger extent. Hence, constant voltage scaling is mostly preferred than constant field scaling. Next, constant voltage scaling. In this, all the dimensions of the device are reduced by a scaling factor, but the supply and terminal voltage remain unchanged. Here, the electric field increases as the minimum feature length is reduced. But this leads to velocity saturation, mobility degradation, increased leakage current and lower breakdown voltages. Next, lateral scaling. In this technique, only the gate length is scaled. This technique is also called as gate shrinking. Now, let us see the effect of different scaling methods. If you see the constant field scaling, in this the channel length, width, gate oxide thickness, junction depth, depletion layer thickness, load capacitance, supply voltage, current and gate delay are all scaled by the factor 1 by S. S is the scaling parameter. The power dissipation is scaled by 1 by S square and substrate doping and current density are scaled by S and transconductance GM is scaled by 1. That is no scaling. Next, if you see the constant voltage scaling, in this the channel length, channel width, gate oxide thickness, depletion depth, depletion layer thickness and load capacitance are scaled by 1 by S. But since it is constant voltage, the supply is scaled by 1. That is no scaling. And current is scaled by S and the gate delay is scaled by 1 by S square. Power dissipation and substrate doping are scaled by S. Current density is scaled by S cube and transconductance is scaled by S. In lateral scaling, the channel length and load capacitance are scaled by 1 by S and the current is scaled by S, gate delay is scaled by 1 by S square and the power dissipation and transconductance are scaled by S and the current density is scaled by S square. All the other parameters remains 1, that is no scaling effect. Now let us see the scaling factors. In order to accommodate constant electric field, constant voltage and combined voltage and dimension scaling models, two scaling factors are introduced. They are alpha and beta. For linear dimensions, both vertical and horizontal, 1 by alpha is considered as the scaling factor. For supply voltage and gate oxide thickness, 1 by beta is considered as the scaling factor. For constant field scaling, beta is equal to alpha is equal to S. S is the scaling parameter. And for constant voltage scaling, alpha is equal to S and beta is equal to 1. Now let us see the scaling of different parameters using this scaling factors alpha and beta. First, gate area AG. We know that AG is equal to length into width. Length is scaled by 1 by alpha and width is also scaled by 1 by alpha. So, the scaled area will be area divided by alpha square. Next is the gate oxide capacitance Cox. We know that Cox is equal to epsilon ox by T ox. Here epsilon ox is the permittivity of the oxide and T ox is the thickness of the oxide layer. Now the scaled capacitance will be epsilon ox divided by T ox by beta. Since permittivity is constant, it is scaled by 1. So gate oxide capacitance is scaled by beta into gate oxide capacitance. Next, gate capacitance. We know that gate capacitance is nothing but gate oxide capacitance into area of gate. So gate oxide capacitance is scaled by beta and the area is scaled by 1 by alpha square. So the entire gate capacitance is scaled by beta by alpha square. Next, parasitic capacitance. The parasitic capacitance is given by area divided by D. Here D is the depletion width. Ax is the area of the depletion region. So the area of depletion region is scaled by alpha square and the depletion width is scaled by alpha. So the parasitic capacitance is scaled by 1 by alpha. Next, the carrier density Q on. Q on is equal to oxide capacitance into gate to source voltage. The scaled oxide capacitance is equal to beta into Cox and the scaled voltage is equal to VGS by beta. So we have Q on dash is equal to Q on since beta cancels each other. That is no scaling. Next, the channel resistance. The channel resistance is equal to L by W into 1 by mu into Q on. L is the length, W is the width, mu is the mobility and Q on is the carrier density. Here length is scaled by 1 by alpha, width is scaled by 1 by alpha and mobility is a constant, so it is scaled by 1 and the carrier density is also scaled by 1. So simplifying, we have the scaled channel resistance as the original channel resistance. It means there is no effect of scaling. Next, gate delay tau d. It is given by the formula Cg into R on, that is gate capacitance into channel resistance. We know that the gate capacitance is scaled by beta by alpha square and the channel resistance is scaled by 1. So simplifying, we have the gate delay as beta by alpha square into tau d, that is it is scaled by beta by alpha square. Next is the maximum operating frequency F0. F0 is equal to 1 by tau d. Tau d is the gate delay. We know that the gate delay is scaled by beta by alpha square. So the operating frequency is scaled by alpha square by beta. Next, the saturation current. The drain current is given by the formula mu into Cox divided by 2 into W by L into VGS minus VT the whole square. We know that mobility is a constant and the oxide capacitance is scaled by beta into oxide capacitance, and the width is scaled by 1 by alpha, length is scaled by 1 by alpha, and the voltage is also scaled by 1 by beta. Simplifying, we have the saturation current is scaled by 1 by beta. Next, the current density. Current density is given by the formula ID by A. ID is the current and A is the area. The current is scaled by 1 by beta and the area is scaled by 1 by alpha square. Rearranging, we have the current density is scaled by alpha square divided by beta. Next, the power dissipation per gate, Pg. It is given by the formula V into I. V is the voltage, I is the current. Voltage is scaled by 1 by beta and this current is scaled by 1 by beta. So we have the power dissipation scaled by 1 by beta square. Next, power dissipation per unit area, PA. It is given by Pg by A. Pg is the power dissipation per gate. It is scaled by 1 by beta square and the area is scaled by 1 by alpha square. So we have the power dissipation per unit area is scaled by alpha square divided by beta square. Next, switching energy per gate, EG. It is given by the formula of Cg into VGS whole square. Cg is the gate capacitance, VGS is the gate to source voltage. Cg is scaled by beta by alpha square and VGS is scaled by 1 by beta. So VGS square is scaled by 1 by beta square. So rearranging, we have the switching energy per gate is scaled by 1 by alpha square into beta. Next is the power speed product PT. It is given by Pg into tau d. We know that power dissipation per gate is scaled by 1 by beta square and the time delay is scaled by beta by alpha square. So rearranging, we have the power speed product scaled by 1 by alpha square into beta. Next, we have concentration of acceptor ions Na. It is given by the formula 2 into epsilon into Va plus Vb divided by d square. Here Va will be much greater than Vb. So we have Na is equal to 2 into epsilon into Va by d square. D is the diffusion length. Epsilon permittivity is a constant, hence it has no scaling, and the voltage is scaled by 1 by beta and the length is scaled by 1 by alpha. So d square is scaled by 1 by alpha square. So rearranging, we have the concentration of acceptor ions scaled by alpha square by beta. Next, let us see the advantages of scaling. Scaling increases the chip density, that is, the number of gates accommodated in a chip increases. It also increases the operating frequency, reduces power consumption, and it also reduces the cost of the chip. It also reduces parasitic capacitance and gate delays. Next, let us see the disadvantages of scaling. On scaling oxide thickness, eventually a stage will reach when oxide will lose its dielectric property. Next, scaling process inevitably results in noise problem which degrades the reliability of high density chip. Next, for smaller device, in addition to VGS voltage, VDS voltage also has greater influence on the carrier flow in the channel. The carrier in the channel can be increased by increasing VDS voltage, and also potential barrier can be reduced even VGS less than VT, that is the threshold voltage. Thus, resulting current through the channel for higher values of VDS, and this current is called subthreshold current. Next, let us see the previous year's questions. This question was asked in December 2019. In a MOSFET, the gate capacitance is scaled by. As we already seen, the gate capacitance is scaled by beta by alpha square. Next question. In a MOSFET, the carrier density is scaled by. As we already know, the carrier density is scaled by 1. That is no effect of scaling. Next, the saturation current in MOSFET is scaled by. The current is scaled by 1 by beta. So, option B is the correct answer. Next, the power dissipation per unit area is scaled by alpha square by beta square. So, option B is the correct answer. Next, the current density is scaled by alpha square by beta. So, option C is the correct answer. Thanks for watching the video. For more videos, don't forget to subscribe our channel.